Hi, so this is going to be a little mini series from a build from start to finish. So the first thing you want to do is pick a nice spot, obviously, and see how much flattened ground you have available. So in this example, I want to build a mansion, and I've got a couple of ideas in mind. I want to build a large hall, so I've chosen a 5 wide, because that's the maximum I can do. And I'm going to make that hall run down the entire length of the build. So it'll be this large spacious area. Also choosing an odd number allows me to have one door entrance rather than a double door. So this will be the entrance. And I can see now on the ground the sort of scale of this main area. And even though this build is going to be in stone, I've sketched out the outline in wood because it's much faster. So once I'm happy with the proportions and I've got my shape in place, I'm going to remove the wooden foundations that are going to be visible. These are the outside walls. So we'll start replacing them with stone. So I'm doing these from right to left. So I'm putting that extra bit in here so I can build from the right to the left rather than the left to the right. And what that will do is give me the face of the wall that has the beam at the top overhanging like it is here. So if you have right to the left foundations, you'll end up with a wall that looks like that with a recess. And this is the smooth side. So at the moment we're not even bothering with pillars. We're just still trying to get the outline. So here's the outer perimeter wall that will be visible. Not too worried about this wood here because it's going to get a flaw and you won't be able to see it. So this stage is all about the layout, and I'm just doing pillars and beams rather than walls. There's a small mistake there because that's meant to be an indent. And a 3x3s, one to the right. But you see, if I built the wall, it would take longer to bring it down. So when you're planning out a base, it's much easier just to make a skeleton. And the same principle applies to wood. Here I want it from the right to the left. That's going to control the stone wall in the same way as a stone foundation would control it. So this is going to be the recessed view, which I like on the outside. See, that's going from left to right. So that's, in my opinion, the inside wall. And even though I've got a plan in my head of what this wants to look like, you can't really tell until you've built it up because the scale and proportions visible from the ground are very different to what you imagine. That's going to be a little entranceway there. At this point, I'm happy with the size of it, so I'm going to flesh out this outline with stone pillars. This planning stage is probably the slowest part, because I'm having to think all the time about what's going to go above these things, the direction of the walls. Once you've done the skeleton, filling in the wall is relatively fast because you don't have to think about it. So there we go, we've got a pretty good outline. You can see this room is going to be very big. I'm planning it to be 2 walls high. Because I want it to look very spacious and open, I don't want to clutter up the stairs. So these 2 little 3x3s at either side are going to be stair rooms. Because with a 2-floor build, you're going to have to put in, obviously, 2 levels of stairs, and that does take up a bit of room. So doing it this way, I'm going to keep this whole section very spacious. So this was the only things I had in mind for this build. I wanted to build a mansion rather than a castle. I wanted a massive hall area. So that sort of forced me to pick 5 wide room. That's the biggest you can do. And I wanted to have the stairs outside of the main room areas. The rest of the build is going to be sort of on the fly. I've got some idea. Laying out the foundations is obviously the most important thing, because it will take a lot of time to change the foundations after you build. So at this point I'm fairly comfortable with the size, so we're going to start putting more stone in. This is the little walkway up. I left this bit in to show you have to always adapt to what the ground offers you. Now I could have got around this by starting my build a little bit further up, because you can go downhill with foundations. So it's always good to start on the highest point you intend to build, and then as you go down it will put supports in for the foundations. So I changed my mind here basically, and I wanted to have 3 wide all the way up on this walkway. Because the ground is rising, I can't place that one. It's not a big deal. It just means I'm going to have to turn in and have a 1 section pointing out. But if you'd really wanted that, you can move your build back. It's too late now. Too late now to move the whole build back 1. But if you, like I say, if you start on the higher ground, you will get more flat ground, because it puts in supports underneath the foundation. But you can't go into the hill. But that looks fine to me. No need to put stone under here, so we're just going to use wood as it's so much faster. So that's most of the layout down, and this is going to be a multi-part build. So I think that's all for now. Bye.